Okay. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. Hey, you guys. Hey. And welcome back to my channel. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, you guys. Hey, you guys. It is Ty, and welcome back to my channel. It's currently going on 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today is Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. I don't know if you guys can hear that loud noise in the background. I think it might be construction or just somebody's big old badonka donka honka donka type of truck. Okay, so really quickly, I am just now getting situated and I have a lot to talk about. Okay, so as we let the camera roll, as we let this live video go live, I am going to get situated. And I do have this video laid out. So for those of you who are returning, thank you so much. And if this is your first time here, welcome back to my channel. So on this channel, I suggest and advise information. I speak from a place of experience, as well as what has helped me along my journey. So with that being said, I equally am here in this universe on the earth with everybody who's here physically in the supernatural human beings who are currently alive right now existing with you. So on this channel, I speak from a place of experience. If not, I do like to suggest and advise information. And I go about suggesting and advising information by using natural resources such as a dictionary, thesaurus, books, encyclopedias, documents, as well as the entire net, which we're currently on right now. So shout out to Google, shout out to YouTube. Google is a search engine written by human beings, just like any and everything else on this earth. The purpose and my intentions on this channel is to educate those who want to hear themselves. So, with that being said, I'm here to suggest and advise, if not educate the collective. I try my best, and I intentionally do not like to speak from a place of opinion unless it is asked for or needed to have a further understanding. So, that being said, one, healing is a choice, and that there's no right or wrong way to do so. So, when it comes to you healing, when it comes to you, watching these videos as a messenger, as a spiritual healer, as an inspirational person, if these messages and videos resonate with you, make sure you continue to subscribe by giving this video a big thumbs up, leaving a like, and make sure you're commenting down below, as well as making sure your notifications are on, and follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter at Ty_guidance. And as you guys can see, I have these two like ponytails. This is my natural hair. I do have a lot of natural hair, and I didn't know what to do with it. And another thing about me and my intentions, I am myself, so I show up every day as her, as me, as Ty. And this is a judge free channel. This is a channel for a safe place for those who choose to be vulnerable, as well as being honest and authentic and genuine to themselves. So I do not tell people what to do or how to feel. So if you come across these videos, it is, of course, optional, and I suggest and advise that if these, once again, videos resonate with you, that you continue to be patient, as well as learning and understanding and educate yourself when it comes to different perspectives, because life is about interpretation, life is about perspective, life is whatever you choose and allow it to be. So, with that being said, because we're suggesting and advising information, I do not tell people what to do or how to feel, simply because, one, everybody in their life does not experience the same opportunities as well as experiences. So, because everyone does not have the same opportunities and experiences, I'm here to educate and inform the collective. So, that being said, I'm going to give this another minute or two and I will go ahead and start today's video. So, for today's video, we will go over and discuss how to be humble. I think that's the title. Now, when it comes to being humble, before I start today's video and express what I have to say, I just want everyone to know to not be so content with labels and attachments. I want to suggest and advise that to the collective. I want people to understand that words are letters, letters are symbols, and that every word has a definition, every word has a meaning. That is the purpose of a dictionary, a glossary, um, an encyclopedia. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. And that when it comes to you interpreting your life, you want to do things that resonate with you and you want to align yourself with people and places and things that you feel as though have your best interests. So, because once again, I'm here to suggest and advise information, not allowing people and places to invalidate you that you don't feel like you're resonating with. So, me personally, I'm only one, physical being. So, I'm not going to be able to resonate or agree with any and everybody. And that is okay because I do not expect everybody to agree or resonate with myself. I do apologize if you see me looking down, you guys. I am recording off of my MacBook. So, the camera is technically right here, but the screen, okay, is right here. And I'm thinking maybe I should braid my hair really quickly, you guys. So as people join, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do. You guys, I look really childish. But one thing about me, even though I look childish, I'm aware of that. Like I come on here with, how I am and like one thing about me, you guys, because I'm very comfortable with myself, obviously, is that I'm allowed to be myself. And that being myself, yeah, that looks a lot better. I look like the little girl from off of the Polar Express. But one thing about me being myself is that I'm comfortable and I'm going to stand on everything that I say and what I believe, not to prove a point, not to be superior, not to be braggadocious, not to be like, oh, I'm so different. Everybody does not think and feel the same way because if so, everybody, I mean, there are a lot of people who do things that others do because of validation, but most people who are aware of themselves are comfortable with how they are. Like, everybody is not meant to fit in, and everyone's not meant to allow others to, control them. Like, if you want to stand out, oh my gosh, you guys, I look so childish. If you want to stand out, stand out. If you want to fit in, fit in. But anybody who comes across this channel, because you have to understand that when it comes to life, you can only project what you feel internally. So, how you view life, including myself, is going to be based off of how I feel internally. So, projections and the reason why I suggest and advise information is because once again, everyone doesn't interpret the same way. So the word projection, I'm going to look that up for you guys because the reason why last year specifically and strategically, I would read the words from the dictionary and the source was to reassure you guys and to refresh your mind, not for people to be so content, like I said, with words, adjectives, and labels that they run off and define themselves as that. So a projection is a prediction or a form of judgment that is based off of a form of extent, value, or quantity. So everybody's projections are going to be based off of how they feel. And when it comes to living life, and this is why I'm making this video about how to be humble and how being humble, to me at least, is something people should want to learn how to do and become. Because if you are experiencing life and you don't have the same finances, emotional support, transportation, or geographically live in an environment where you feel you can do well, instead of you looking outside of yourself and looking for people and places and things in those areas where they lack, looking amongst yourself and being vulnerable with yourself and admitting and acknowledging that you only know what you know. Like, that's the same thing with me. Like, it's not that I have to be so spontaneous because once again that's an adjective, or I have to be so conceited, or I have to be so even confident. Like, confident to me is being honest. Like, a lot of people allow words to define their actions without really processing and how it makes them feel. Now, of course, if you're able to, express yourself and you understand why you feel the way you do, the more the merrier. But if you're just listening to people and places and things that are not aligned with you or wanting to become, then I suggest and advise you reevaluate and you learn to reflect. So now we're going to go ahead and move forward and talk about this video. So, how to be humble. So, once again, I just want to start off by saying that humble is a word. And I know you're thinking, what do you mean by that? So, once again, I want you guys to follow me on my Instagram and Twitter at Ty_guidance to stay up to date. So, the word humble is a word in the dictionary. So let's go ahead and read the word dictionary. I don't have a physical dictionary. Eventually, I do plan on to invest in one, but the dictionary that I've been using, like I said in the video from natural resources, are the internet because just like the internet, just like the dictionary, and just like anything that is physical or material was created by us supernatural beings. So the word dictionary, and I'm going to read the full definition. And once again, how you choose to process and interpret it is for you. I'm just going to read and project, as well as suggest and advise how I perceive the definition. Now, of course, I do not know everything. I can only speak from a place of experience. And if I don't know something, one thing about me that I'm very honest about and how I come on here is being intentional. So if I do not know something, meaning I'm ignorant, I lack knowledge, or I'm naive, I usually do not like to speak on things that I don't know anything about. Why? Because if I'm trying to explain something or suggest and advise information, I don't want to talk without having any form of intention or being purposeful. It's not to say that people are not allowed to speak just because they can, but the purpose for me and why I'm here as a messenger or a spiritual healer is to do such. So, me personally, any information that I suggest and advise for you guys, I actually apply in my real life. That's why I can come on here with these two braids. That's why I can come on here with my champion t-shirt, knowing that I'm at home, knowing that it's not to say I don't care about myself. I just got my eyebrows done yesterday, but I'm a real person. I go through real things, and that the internet one is the internet, meaning when it comes to social media, when it comes to the internet, that's all it is. Like I said, it's apps, it's technical. I said technical. It's technology. It's a resource. Like it's a search engine. Like of course people are going to say stuff about you on the internet. It's easier to talk about people on the internet or on social media than it is for people to pull up on you in real life. And I'm not promoting any form of violence or any form of activity of physical such, because when it comes to carrying yourself personally, you guys, I've only been in 4 fights, but one thing I've realized as a young lady and how I want to carry myself, you shouldn't have to put your hands on people to have your point across or get through somebody. You should not allow anyone, I want to suggest and advise, to get you that angry or upset where you have to become physical. I know from experience, I've been in 4 fights and I've also been in jail more than 3 times in my life from being aggressive, from being belligerent, and realizing that it only takes 2 seconds or a matter of seconds for you to throw your life away. And of course, as time goes on, I will, speak about the experiences. And that's another thing. I speak about my experiences. Everything that I'm coming on here is my life. So before read the dictionary and the definition, I just want to give you guys a background. Like, I am 25 years old. I was born and raised in New York City. I've lived in Maryland. I lived in Colorado. I lived in Pennsylvania. I lived in Wisconsin. I lived in Georgia. I've been to 22 different states. I'm trying to think where else have I lived. And I've also been outside of the country. My favorite place that I've been to is Grand Turk and Belize in Canada. Those are my favorite places. And from my experiences being on the East Coast, being a city girl, living in the suburbs, I have traveled. Like I said, I've been working since I was 17. I have immigrant descent parents who also, too, when they came to America, and on my dad's side, because they're immigrated, and my mom's side, she's native, her family was already here, have been exposed to a certain culture and a background. I've been working since I was 17. My first job, I worked at Chuck E. Cheese, I worked at Foot Locker, I worked at Silver Diner, I worked at TGI Fridays, I was a finance representative, I sold insurance. Okay, you guys, so like the things that I'm saying is not, like I said, just for my health. It's not just to look at myself and realize that I need my hair done, or that, oh, I'm just this superior person, or I'm just this so full of myself, arrogant individual. Like, no, like knowing who you are and being comfortable is not my issue. It's not my job. That's like how I'm a messenger of source, of the divine feminine, of God, supernatural. It's not my job to sit here and explain to people or force people or get people to believe what I know. So having a little bit of that knowledge, and once again, to me, the best way you can teach is through scenarios and examples. Like, I don't know everything. And for me, I have not been to college, and that doesn't make me less of a person. I do not have a degree in psychology or sociology because I understand that going to school gives me opportunity and experiences, not to knock anybody. Because if you are going to go to school, what I want to suggest and advise is that you go, you experience, and you get the opportunity to better yourself. If you are going to get a degree, that you apply the knowledge that you've learned and make it beneficial for you in life. Because when it comes to life, a lot of people may not understand that the only thing that matters is survival. A lot of people do not understand that because a lot of people have certain privileges or don't have certain knowledge. This is why, once again, I'm speaking from a place of experience. I've been privileged and I have been less fortunate. So understanding that however you choose to interpret your life, is going to be based off of what you know. So if you're not willing to educate yourself, and this is why I read the dictionary, this is why I'm going out my way to educate myself on the knowledge, as well as speaking from my cultural background and history to inform you all, because people only know what they know, right or wrong. And if you want to heal, what I want to suggest and advise, you have to be willing to grow, and as well as admitting your wrongs. Like, I'm coming on here not to just tell my business, not like I said, just for people to feel bad for me, because everybody in the world has a sad story. Nobody cares about my opinions. Like, I could say the same thing about other people. Like, I always tell you guys, if they're not informing you, educating you, or inspiring you, anybody and everybody is going to have an opinion. That's why on this channel, I will say 90, if not 85% of the time, I'm giving you guys these natural resources, and I want people to question and expand their mind and understand perspective, because this is what you're here for. Like I said, survival, like learning to be fortunate, surviving, and loving. I want to say so, survival and loving, because if you do not have a roof over your head, if you do not live in a building or a shelter, are you going to live outside? And it's not to say that people don't want to live outside, because there are homeless people, but naturally, yes, way before time we were living outside. That's the purpose of the natural foods and natural resources, such as fruits and vegetables, as well as the grass and the dirt that we live on. So, really quickly, let's go ahead and understand on how to be humble, or why we should want to be humble, and learning to be patient with yourself. So, a dictionary is a book or electronic resource that lists words of a language, typically in alphabetical order. It gives the meaning or gives equivalents of words in a different language, often also providing information of pronunciation of the origin of the use. So the word dictionary could mean word book, glossary. A dictionary is referring in reference on work on a particular subject, the items that are which are typically arranged in alphabetical order. So it's a set of words or other text strings made for use of applications when spelling and speaking. So once again, a dictionary, because here's the thing, when you are reading information, you are visualizing. To process information is to understand. This is why I suggest and advise that when people are listening to something or someone, you listen to understand them. A lot of people live in their flesh, which is your ego. So, for example, I've healed myself supernaturally. I know that I'm just a spirit. If I am talking to someone who lives in their ego, it will be hard for them to resonate because they're not able to interpret, because it is something that they can't see or process for themselves. It doesn't make anybody less than or above, but you have to understand a dictionary is a glossary. So a glossary is an alphabetical list of terms and words in which are relating to a specific subject or text, which are dialect and explains, which is a dictionary. So you have to understand that a dictionary is a book with words, with definitions, with meanings. So, for example, let's just say this was a physical dictionary. All I have to do is write the words dictionary. So let's spell it out: dictionary, dictionary. That is the title, that is the label. Inside of the dictionary are going to be list of words from the alphabet. So our alphabet, depending on where you live, it should be from A through Z. And because the alphabet has A through Z, you're going to have words that start from A through Z. And because these words start from A through Z and it has a book of multiple words, they're going to have definitions and meanings. This is why it is so important to not allow a physical dictionary, which is a title of a physical book, with words inside that have definitions and meanings. Every single word on the planet, including planet and dictionary, has to have some form of meaning, because if not, a word, let's go ahead and look up the word. And this is why, you guys, one, I'm just doing this just for people to understand. Once again, not for me to be like I told you so or a know it all, because you can only know what you know. It's okay if you don't sit here and take the time to educate yourself. That's like people who are scholars or into geology. Once again, these people are not any better, but if people know something, you stand on what you know and you speak on it. Everyone does not know everything. Like, for example, I don't know how to do hair. I'm not going to knock a hairstylist who knows how to do hair and say that she's this and she's that just because I'm ignorant, just because I don't understand. That doesn't make it right. If somebody is good at something, respect them. So, a word is a single, distinct, meaningful element of speech that is written, that is used with other words in a form of a sentence, typically to show space with each other. A word is a command, a password, or a signal. Choose and use particular words in order to say or write something. Use to express an agreement. So words could be a term. A term is a phrase to describe a thing or to express a content, especially in a particular language. Expression is a word or a way to convey something or someone. Instruction. Instruction is a direction or order. A phrase is particularly in a group of words and expressing, I just said that, to convey your thoughts or feelings in words by gestures and conduct. You see how every word goes back to a synonym, every word goes back to a definition, because once again, people, and especially because I have a physical and a technology, I keep saying technical, a technical phone. This is my cell phone. My cell phone. I don't have a physical book, and I this is why I need to go ahead and purchase one eventually. But a cell phone. A cell phone is a noun. It has access to cellular radio system, so it could be used over a wide area without physical connection. So a network. So I consider this to be a mobile phone. So on my mobile phone, that is a device that has a physical connection to a network, is not being justified. It also says, because this is the internet, feedback, which means, let's go ahead and read the word feedback. This is why you do not want to be so content with every word and every definition, because you're going to sit here and constantly go in a cycle. The word feedback is information about reactions to a product, a person's performance, a task, which is used for improvement. So, a response, a reaction, a comment. You are finding results and returning an output. So, a response is a reaction to something or somebody. To comment is a verbal or written remark expressing your reaction. And the reason, once again, I'm breaking it down bit by bit, A through Z, is for you all to process this information. It is not about proving a point. It is not, life is not about me. Life is not about me. Life is not about me, meaning I do not care to sit here and prove a point. I do not, first of all, I'm not saying this any type of way, but this is a mental health and spiritual health channel. There are a lot of people who commit suicide. I'm not saying this to be suicidal, but I do not care to be in the physical realm. It's not to say that I do not care about my existence, but the physical material world, it does not phase me. Before I found myself, before I became humble, before I knew source, before I knew God, before I knew why I was here, I was depressed. I was upset. I did worry. I did doubt. I don't have those problems now because I understand that the only thing that matters is the present moment. I'm not allowing attachments, physical, material, people, places, and things to get to me. So, once again, if you want to sit here and break things down, educate yourself. Let's learn how to be humble. So, now let's go back to the real grit in the grid. Humble. Humble could be an adjective or it could be a verb. Humble is having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's importance. People read the first sentence without processing the rest of the definition. And that is what gets me. People read having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance without defining or processing the rest of the words. The word modest is an amount. The word modest means to be tolerable. The word modest means to be fair. So let's continue to read the rest of the definition of being humble. The word humble to be respectful. The word humble means to be of meek, which means to be quiet, which means to be gentle, which means to be submissive. The word humble, it says a low social, administration, or political rank, mean low in ranking of status, in particular of a hierarchy. So when people say, "Oh, I don't want to be humble," you shouldn't want to. Yes, you should be humble. That's the problem. A lot of people live in their flesh. A lot of people are so egotistical or in they're full of themselves. They don't understand that being humble is not of yourself, but of status. Nobody on this earth is superior and better than anybody. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're black. That's the problem. You see, the history that has been projected makes individual people feel as though that groups of people have to be superior. When all actuality, if I was to stab you right now, your blood would bleed blue before it would turn red. Everybody pisses the same way, rather you have balls or you have a coochie. Humble yourself, understanding lowly, of status, of importance, being superior, not in yourself. To be humble, it says in status, but you see a lot of people, they get that first word, they're easily triggered. They hear that one word and they run with it. Humble could also be a verb. It says lower, and then in parentheses, it also says someone in dignity. Dignity, and I'm not saying this to comfort anybody, but this is why you need to sit here and process information completely until you're able to understand dignity. Sorry, you guys, I don't know if you can hear that. Dignity is being worthy of. Dignity is having honor or respect. Dignity is a serious manner of a style. Dignity is oneself and self worth. To be nobleness, nobility. Nobility is in being in character and how you carry yourself. So the word humble, how to be humble, is to also mean to be humiliated or to be demeaned. Humiliating, it says to make someone feel ashamed and foolish by ignoring their self respect publicly. So once again, If you are humble, you will know that the dignity that you have amongst others, you don't have to put down other people. You do not have to belittle people. If you're not going to educate someone, that's like, for example, the worst thing anybody could say about me being on here is that my hair is not done. My mom stopped doing my hair when I was 10 years old. Unless you're going to sit here and teach me how to do my hair or buy me hair or buy me clothes, you need to be humbled. I don't know how to do my hair. If I knew how to do my hair, if my mom taught me, and that's not to knock my mom, but if I knew how to groom myself as a young lady, wouldn't I sit here and take the time to educate myself? Wouldn't my mother take the time? My mother only knows what she knows, but I don't have to embarrass her or belittle her or anybody else. Because I am humbled. That's how you learn how to be humbled. You guys hear the word oh, I can't be humiliated. Oh, why not? How are you supposed to grow if you don't learn? How are you going to start a business if you never applied yourself or tried? How do you learn how to ride a bike if you don't even get on the bike and take the chance to fall? Oh, but I don't want to be humbled. I can't. That's your problem. There's nothing wrong with learning. That's what we come here to do in life. Life is about choices. And each choice that you make, it will affect you. How do I know? 5 years ago, if I could be 20 years old, I would have made wiser choices. But unfortunately, I can't go back to being 20 years old. I'm currently in the middle of my 20s. I was naive. I did not have guidance. I did not have the emotional, especially financially, because I was cut off financially when I was 17 years old. And I moved out when I was 21 years old. I'm 25. I only have one parent. And I don't expect her to feel bad for me, especially since I was not raised like that. Even though there is such thing as hyper independence, my parents, like I said, they only knew how to survive. So if my parents only knew how to survive, what else would I be able to do for myself? And there's nothing wrong with being humbled. Honestly, I suggest and advise a lot of people learn how to be humble. You will get some dignity. It's not about the physical or material wealth. Me not having what I want to realize and what I had to learn about myself and what I want to suggest and advise, I'm grateful. I don't need to have $1,000,000. I don't need to have a lot of friends. I don't need to have any of those things that do not genuinely resonate with me in my life because they come and go. Money, it comes and go. Why do you think it's printed? You played Monopoly before? Monopoly is what the real version of real life is. The only difference between Monopoly and real life is that one is a physical game. Monopoly is what you play in real life. Why do you think they have games? Why do you think they have televisions? You go outside. I say that all the time. I say that all the time. See, but the problem is most people have been conditioned to live in their flesh and not their spirit and not realizing that it's a bigger picture. People would rather listen to a television than go outside and explain and learn for themselves. People created televisions. And it's not to be historic on you guys, but there was life before and there's going to be life after us. The world is not going to stop just because if this if you don't see the moon and if you don't see the sky, I mean the sun, I would be worried. I would be worried. That's the only time I would sit here and project any information. You don't need to be afraid. You don't need to be of fear. What are you afraid of? Fear is an illusion. That's like Alice in Wonderland. That's what a lot of us in the collective. Why do you think TikTok is has been in this current area? Why do you think people on TikTok have beginnings? You know how many times I've been banned on TikTok, you guys? How many times people have been censored on TikTok because of the information that they're projecting, and people are now constantly. So you have people like Bill Nye the Science Guy, you have Jane Elliott, you have people in power, you have influencers in power, you have countries, world leaders in power starting to speak up. There are no coincidences. So learn to be humble. Is nothing wrong with being humble. It is nothing wrong to be humble. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Okay, I apologize. My mom just stepped home and she's excited, so yeah. But it is okay. It is okay to be humble. Do not let the word humble or any word, that's like if people sat here and called me ugly. Ugly is a word. What does ugly mean? If you look up the word ugly, there's no picture on what ugly means. If you are not attractive to somebody, that does not mean that they don't know their worth. Everybody is not going to be attracted to everybody, like, and that is okay. You don't want to be attracted to people who don't appreciate you. You don't want to surround yourself with people who do not appreciate. You do not want to be around people who make you feel bad about being yourself. Why would you want to surround yourself with people who make you feel bad, that talk badly about people that talk about you don't even like themselves? If you have enough dignity and respect for yourself, you're not going to belittle people. I don't care who you are. Joseph Biden was good. I don't care, you guys. Like Joseph Biden, Kamala Harris, King Jong Yo, uh, Putin, all you leaders. If you have enough respect for yourself, you're gonna carry yourself like such. You don't have to prove a point. You don't have to go out your way to be seen. You don't have to go out your way to be heard. If people want to understand you, they'll take the time. If people want to go, that's like people that go again. Does it look like I worry about people who don't even care about themselves but watch and are worried about me? People could say whatever they want. Their energy, one thing about me, because I am a spirit and it is a supernatural universe, you could say what you want. The energy is going to speak for itself. People are uncomfortable. It's not your job to worry about people being uncomfortable. It's one thing if somebody lacks knowledge and they're lost and they don't know any better. That's what being naive is. But if you intentionally are going out your way, that's your fault. If people had enough respect for themselves, if people were humble, they would not stare because when you respect yourself, you respect how you carry yourself. So you respect yourself financially, you will respect yourself emotionally, you will respect yourself physically. When I did not care about myself, I let any and anybody hang around me. I let any and anybody say what they felt. But now that I respect myself, I don't go ahead, I'm not listening to people. Get your scissors, cut them off. I don't care who they are. I respect myself. I'm not going back and forth with nobody because I respect myself. I don't have to yell at people to get their attention. You shouldn't have to curse at people to get your point across. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't even know how to communicate, especially for the adults. If you are over the age of 25 and you say that you're an adult, you should not want to carry yourself like such. Now, for the children, anybody here who is younger than the age of 25, I have a little bit more patience. I do have a little bit more patience for children because you all may not know any better. But for the adults, people know how they feel. People are so angry and so miserable and so broken that they try to bring you down. But one thing about me, you guys, you can't bring me down because I respect myself. You see, me being financially unstable was because of me. Me not knowing my worth was because of me. Me hanging around people that I had no business hanging around was because of me, not because of other people. When I got fired, I decided to sit my ass on the couch and not go to work. I decided to sleep with men who were not worthy of my time. I decided to gossip. I decided to kiki and hang around people that talked about me. No respect. People who respect themselves, people who are humble, you're not gonna, first of all, the type of time that I'm on right now, can nobody just come and sit with me. That's why it's important to be mindful of who you're listening to. It's important to be mindful of what you're watching. It's important to be mindful of what you want for yourself. People walk around and they're angry. People walk around and they're mad. Guess what? I'm still going to keep a smile on my face. I'm not about to have a bad day just because you had a bad day. No. If you want to be angry, if you want to be mad, guess what? You're allowed to feel that way, but you won't be feeling that way around me. When I was younger, I didn't say anything, not because I didn't know how to speak, but I didn't care. I really did not care. I really did not care about anybody to see here. Now, anything or anybody who tries to come for me, just know my energy will speak for itself. I don't have to move. I don't have to tussle because I respect myself. I am humbled. It's one thing to say something than it is to do something. And of course, I wasn't always like this. I was far from it. I was on the other side. If you know, I had friends on the other side. She had friends on the other side. You seen, okay? I wasn't always this humbled individual. I've made a lot of mistakes. I have a lot of skeletons in my closet. But guess what? Because I know I have these skeletons in my closet, I don't want to be guilty. I don't want to die in fear. I don't want to be afraid of anything or anybody. And I don't allow anything or anybody make me feel bad about myself because I didn't know. That's anybody in life. Physically, once again, before y'all come for me in the spiritual community, nobody in the flesh asked to be born. Supernaturally, spiritually, if you know why you're here, okay? If you know, you know. But for the spiritual community, because y'all know y'all like to sit here and be like, yes, well, everyone is not aware supernaturally that clouds are moving in the sky. They just realize that there are clouds. People do not know why that there are clouds, okay? Until we get there to educate them, people only know what they know, and it's okay. That's why being humble, how to be humble, is not a bad thing. But if you hear one word, if you're easily offended, if you live in your flesh, if you're in your ego and you're not willing to understand and comprehend, everything is going to be an issue. You're always going to feel like, oh my gosh. And I'm not saying you have to use recreational substances like myself or natural resources, but really take some time to get to know yourself and where you live. That's so scary. That's why the leaders who control the world, the 1%, they could do that. It's a distraction. You all paid attention. The wars is all a distraction. People are being distracted. History, if you read the history books, if you really take some time to apply yourself, why would we be in war if land is already here and everything that we need is for us to be here? We've been fighting since we got here. And if for you spiritual, supernatural folks, you already know what type of time we're on right now. This is not a, it's not a joke. Because I wake up every day and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really on earth. Oh my gosh, I'm really around human beings. Oh my gosh, I can't go nowhere. I can't go nowhere. Only where I could go was outer space. And I don't even want to go to outer space anymore because it's like, oh my God, there's no gravity. Like, what the heck? It's not a joke. All this is going on for a reason. And until people with platforms, until influencers and historians in the supernatural community speaks up, it is going to continue. Now, of course, I'm not Rosa Parks. I'm not definitely Dr. Martin Luther King, okay? And I'm not Harriet Tubman, but I do have a platform. And I don't like none of you guys, so I don't wanna be here just as much as everybody else. So if I'm gonna have to be here, okay, I have to use my time just as much as wisely as everybody else. Nobody physically is alone. How you feel, of course, is going to be different. You can't tell someone how to feel. This is why I don't tell you guys how to feel, of course. But if you were to go outside, I bet you there would be other people physically that are outside, if you're able to see, be outside. Like, for example, I'm not the only person right now inside of this house. It's a bigger picture. Life is a lot bigger than what we like. 8 billion people. Can you guys even process? See, that's the thing. Most people who live in small towns or small areas can't even imagine life in other countries or continents. There are 8 billion you know how many people? It's a lot of people on this planet, like, it is a lot of people. But you only see Monday through Friday, Saturday through Sunday, December through January if you do not travel or experience life to realize that, "Oh my gosh, there's a lot of people in the world." And of course, everybody is not, like I said, going to be an influencer or an entrepreneur or a businessman or businesswoman, but you have to be humble enough to realize who you are and what role you want to play in this life. Until you hear yourself spiritually, you're going to think that you need to have money, to have time, to have your worth. I used to think that, oh, if I had $1 million, if I had the car that I wanted, if I had that does not define who I am. That's just what I bought. And one thing about me, okay, and God we trust. Look at your money. You can't buy me. I'm not a sellout. I would never. I am not with none of that, okay? Some people can be bought. Some people do, if you know, you know, okay? Look at your money. It says, in God we trust. What is your pledge of allegiance? People that sworn into the inauguration, that God and the God, two different, okay, if you know, you know, because I'm not going to come in here and talk about that because that's not, I don't force people to believe in things because you can't at the end of the day. That's for you to have a relationship, and that's if you know, you know, but come on now. It's a bigger picture. Why do you think people will rob, steal, and kill for money? Like I said, you played Monopoly before. It's the same thing. That's the purpose of Monopoly. The only difference, like I said, is that one is a physical game and Monopoly in real life is your everyday experience. That's your reality. Like I said, go outside. I bet you right now you see some clouds moving. And the people who control the world, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not, because guess what? I have the knowledge, I have the resources. And more people are going to realize it may not be today, it may be 10 years later, it may be 50 years later. It doesn't matter. All this stuff is happening for a reason. They know that they can't control people no more. They know that let's raise the gas prices, let's cause a war, let's do this, let's make diseases. You realize that COVID and any other disease doesn't fall out the sky, they have to be man made. All diseases are created. A virus is something you make in a science lab. Viruses don't just fall out the sky. COVID did not just come from the clouds, come from heaven, come from space, outer space, and just say ploop. No, they make viruses to kill and to steal and to destroy people. That's like medicine. And that's not to knock anybody in the medicine or pharmacy industry, but why do you think doctors, and I've been told this by doctors get prescribed a certain amount of money so they could write their paychecks. Why do you think when you take medicine, for example, this is illegal. If you have a headache and you take pills, it does not permanently get rid of your symptoms. It's temporary. That is the purpose of the pharmacy. They need the money. Dr. Sebi, he was assassinated. I'm not afraid to speak up about the truth. Why? Because, like I said, I'm tired of being here. I'm tired of being here. Medicine was created to continue for people to spend their money. If medicine is supernatural, this is why they tell you to drink water, to eat plants and vegetables that are alive. Medicine is man-made. Fruits and vegetables are not. That is from source. That is from the world we live in. And I'm not saying everyone has to be like me and become a vegetarian and want to eat healthier, but start looking at the ingredients when you are buying food. It's processed. It's so much easier to feed us chips and you guys seen the movie Wall-E? Wall-E is our real life. The only difference between Wall-E is that we don't want robots to take over, but they've already started to create robots. They already started making the metaverse. There are already robots in Japan and Dubai and other places, like I said, that actually are way more advanced because, America is ghetto, but we don't want robots taking over the world. We don't. All the little chunky people on Wally, and I'm not coming for anybody who's overweight. That's what Americans are. We sit in front of our TVs, they feed us junk food, they poison us, so we can't feel good, so we can't do anything with our lives. The only difference between the movie Wally and us is that we don't live in spaceships, but we drive cars. What do you think a airplane is? People don't fly. You know what flies though? The supernatural animals that already existed in the world. Animals can fly, birds can fly, people cannot fly. So what do we have to do instead of creating? But guess what? Just like in the rocket ships of the little Einsteins, you already have Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk who have been to space. So rocket ships are real. Hate to break it to you. How else did you think they got to space in 11 minutes? There is no such thing as a conspiracy theory because there are no walls outside. There are no conspiracy theories. Go outside. If you go outside, you came from outside from a building, which means there are no walls outside. There are no walls outside. There are no walls outside. What does that mean? If you take away the land, if you take away your building, in order to build a house, in order to have a form of shelter, in order to be inside, you have to have land. If I was to break down your house or any form of building, guess what was there? Some What is a house or any form of building made out of? Material. It could be brick, it could be concrete, it could be paper. It's a bigger picture. It's a bigger picture. There are no walls outside. That's why the sun has to rise and the sun has to set. You ever ask yourself, what is the sun? Have you ever asked yourself, what is the sun? Why is the sun so powerful? Why do we need, and for the melanated folk, because y'all know why we need sun. How you think you're gonna live? Why do you think you have scientists going to Mars, people that are willing to discover and look up places, and scuba divers who go into the ocean? Because the ocean, that's a whole different topic. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I don't know how I feel about the ocean. The ocean is a little interesting. I like the beach, but the ocean is huge, okay? That's a whole different topic. That's a whole different topic. How you got turtles? What do you think turtles are? They're not human beings. What do you think spiders are? They're not human beings. They're a different form of species. We are not the only group of species. Why do you think birds, they chirp? They think we probably are fools. A dog, a cat. What do you think those are? And because it is the time of the time to be the time to be the time, why do you think on TikTok they keep banning people for telling people, like I said, about the ocean and all the creatures and all the other stuff that people don't want to know about? Because when you tell people the truth, people get afraid. If you were to tell people, okay, a lot of things are illusions and this is what it is, people would be scared. And I'm not saying this to scare you, but you need to know who you are and where you are. Because if you do not know who you are, the world will tell you what you think it's supposed to hear and what you're supposed to know. That's why people are so stagnant. A lot of people are enslaved and trapped mentally. You think that if you don't have a house, you don't have a car, that you're depressed, but you're alive. You have a roof over your head, you have clothes on your back, you're able to eat, you're able to walk and talk and see. You have all of your senses. And what are you upset about? Now, it's one thing to sit here and to lose someone physically like death, but you getting fired from a job, you know what I had to realize? Is not the end of the world. Just because you go through a hard time does not mean that that hard time lasts forever. Because to be honest, once a hard times happen, that is it. Once something is gone, it's gone. You can't go back to yesterday. You can't go back to 5 years ago. That pain that you're suffering from now is mentally. That's why people have been diagnosed with ADHD or OCD or PTSD. That pain that you experience from that accident, that trauma, from getting fired, from being raped, all is done. It's over with. And I'm sorry everybody in life has to suffer because once again, before y'all come for me, before the spiritual community come, nobody in the flesh asks to be born. Supernaturally, like I said, you spiritual people, y'all already know why y'all are here. Okay. Me personally, I know, like I said, I used to be a sinner. Okay. I have a lot of karmic dues that I have to do before I can leave this earth. Okay. In this lifetime, at least. Okay. Nobody asks to be born. So no, nowhere in life is it going to be fair. Nowhere. I don't, nowhere in life. Nowhere. Do not allow these people. And I live in America, so I'm gonna talk my sugar honey iced tea because Joseph Biden Kamala was really good. I'm not afraid. What am I supposed to be afraid of? Because you see, when you don't have any money, you don't have any physical or material wealth, all you have is your word and yourself. That doesn't define me. If you think physical, if you think you're better than somebody because you have money, you think you're better than somebody because you have a car, you think you're better than somebody because you got nice clothes. You know how many people have clothes? You know how many people have houses? You're not the only person who has a car. You're not the only person who has a job. You're not the only person who has a house. You're not. And guess what? Your house, your clothes, and your money is all temporary. You're not gonna live in your house forever because I hate to break it to you. Nobody's gonna leave this earth alive. For the dark humor, I have a really sense of dark humor, but last time I checked, I've never met, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to see no ghost. I don't want nobody to sit here and die and then come back. And you better not haunt. You better stay away. Hmm. Y'all seen a haunted mansion? Y'all seen that movie, The Haunted Mansion? Remember when she died and then he came back and he tried to absolutely you better stay away. I rebuke, okay? Absolutely not. Mhm, mhm. Okay. And when you die, you're not gonna die immediately. When my father passed away, oh my gosh, you guys, when I say I almost passed. My mom had to catch me. I almost passed out. His eyes were still open until they had to close them. He was, because your body has to his hair grew back. All his organs had to, it's a process, you guys. It's okay, okay. My dad had cancer. So in his flesh, Before he died, he had lost his hair. When he died, his hair and all, like I said, all his organs. Okay, when I say scary, woo, y'all, I was shook. And your only way out is to be buried or to be cremated. Why do you think there are cemeteries? And that's another thing. Where are you in a rush to go? People, I realize people are so caught up in the future because a man made time that they don't realize they only the only thing that matters is the present moment. Tomorrow does not exist. Yesterday doesn't even exist. So technically speaking, for those who know, time is an illusion, but we have to use it for structure because people, like I said, will freak out if they realize what is going on. How is it 5 o'clock Tuesday, March 22nd in America, but in Australia is Wednesday? If we all have the same 24 hours and we all have this, unless, okay, but if we got the same sun, they have time for structure for a reason. That's why from kindergarten through 12th grade, most people in America have been conformed to the society of going to school. Why do you think you have to pay for college and not public school? You have to pay to get a degree. Why? You have to have a job. You have to have a house. If you don't have a house, you're going to be homeless. Why are you paying for education, which you're not even getting education on yourself? You're getting education to become disciplined. And it's not to say that school can't teach you stuff, but school is not going to teach you how to be loving. School's not going to teach you how to not be depressed. School's not going to teach you how to survive or take care of yourself. And you got to pay 40, 50,000 dollars just to get the degree, just so you can live comfortably in life. When you were born, right, given as a child, you had no responsibilities. Why do you think children are so honest? They are the most intelligent group of people because they are the most closest on their existence. Little children, that's why for the children now, you got to protect these little babies. You got to protect these children, bro. Like, we as people, we have to do, especially you adults. Because one thing as a Gen Zer, the millennials and the generations before us, y'all did not know no better. And I do apologize. Because you guys didn't have, like I said, you guys didn't have the internet. You didn't have a YouTube. You didn't have a TikTok. Y'all didn't even have Wi-Fi. You all literally had to work your entire lives just to be satisfied. And that's upsetting. Why should somebody work their entire life just to bury themselves? Because that's what you do. Like I said, even though I said it as a joke, but every joke has some truth. You're not gonna leave here alive. So what you want to rush for? Your funeral, your death? Where are you going? Your grave? You want to rush to go to your grave? Because that's what happens in life. And it shouldn't have to take trauma for people to understand that. People should not have to suffer in life to realize who they are or what their worth is. Especially not in America, because guess what? Like I said, I'm gonna talk my crap, you guys. I'm gonna talk because that's the thing. I'm not afraid. If you're not gonna die for what you're standing on, why stand up at all? That's the difference between giving a fact and having an opinion. Everybody in the world has opinions. It is way more of us. It is way more people that vote. It's way more people that work who are middle class and lower class than it is the people that control us. And that's how they control us because they know 40% of the world is middle class and are willing to do anything just to get by. Middle class people have to work the hardest. It's not the lower class. The lower class gets government and funded assistance, and the higher class, they get money from both of us. Now, it's nothing wrong with having a job or a 9 to 5, but if you do not enjoy what you do, you need to live your life for you. If you don't like working at the post office, don't work at the post office. If you don't like working at McDonald's, don't work at McDonald's. Being humble is realizing that your peace and your sanity is way more important. Because guess what? When you work at a job, because I've worked at so many jobs before starting my own business and being a business owner now, when you die and when they fire you, you get replaced in 2 days. Why do you think they ask you for a 2 weeks notice? Your jobs do not, I'm not saying that all corporations don't care about their employees, but anybody who works for an establishment, you're better than establishment. You're not bettering yourself unless you enjoy what you do. When I worked for Wendy's, I was told by my district manager, they said that they could replace, this is a fast food restaurant. And I'm not discrediting Wendy's because I sure do eat me some chicken nuggets from Wendy's every day. But it's like for them to tell me that they don't care about me, they could replace me. And this is Wendy's. I'm only getting paid $13 an hour to smell like chicken grease and burgers and to be around people that have nasty attitudes. That is not worth my time and energy. And the fact that if Wendy's, like I said, it's not to knock nobody because guess what? And this is why I'm humble because I don't make fun of people who are less fortunate. That's being a bully. People that think they're better than you because they have money are broke inside because they think they need money to be better than you. You know how weak you are? Oh, because I have money. Oh, because I have a car. Oh, because I got better clothes. Congratulations. You want a cookie? Louis Vuitton is a brand, just like any other brand. It's an orange box with a blue bow that says Louis Vuitton. It's plastic. That's the same thing with a Lamborghini. Baby, it's a car. A car is a car. One car may say Honda, the only one says Lamborghini. The only difference is that you paid more for the other one. A car is still going to get you from A to B. Now, if you drive a yacht or if you own a cruise ship, okay, that's a little different, but even still, who drives a cruise ship other than a cruise director? Nobody is better than anybody. And if you feel like you could sit here and knock people just because you have stuff, that says a lot about your character. And that's the problem. A lot of people don't have no character. That's why people can have millions and trillions of dollars and still be worried about people who have less. Because you have no class. Money can't buy class. Money doesn't buy dignity. I don't care if you have $750 billion and I have negative $12.69 in my account. Because guess what? Unless you spend your money, what are you saving it for? If you don't have a family or priority or people to care about, that's why you gotta learn how to mind your business in life. What are you doing? You know how many millionaires there are in the world? Because in God we trust, they print the money. You ever paid attention to a dollar bill or a $20 bill? You see that somebody has to sign off of it? You're not the only person who could get printed money. That's what happens when you live in a physical and material world. Material girl, I want Chanel in a bag and a material girl, I want Chanel. Like, but if you were humbled, if you had character, if you respected yourself, you will realize, oh, I'm not the only person who can. That's why anybody could be anything that they want to. You have to not limit yourself and you have to apply yourself. How do you think Albert Einstein was able to discover gravity? How do you think Tesla, Nick Tesla, or whatever his name is, discovered Tesla? You have to have the idea before it comes into your reality. How do you think Bessie Ross, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to be a historical figure, but Bessie Ross, you guys, she was born in the 1700s. She made the American flag. How do you think she made, especially, she didn't have no TikTok to make the American flag. She made that from scratch. People do not realize everything that you want. Once again, go outside. How else you gonna make stuff? Where else? Where's it gonna come? It's gonna come from the sky. You do not want nothing. I promise you. You do not want nothing to flood from the sky. I promise you, on God, you do not want. You do not want not a, other than a raindrop. You do not want nothing to come from them clouds. Elizabeth Ross. She was born in 1752 and she died in 1836. You know how long ago that was? We are not the first people, and we are not going to be the last group of people on this earth. And Christopher Columbus, he did not discover America. Like I said, it's a bigger picture. If race wasn't so important, you wouldn't have to fill out your job application with your race on it. If race was so important, there wouldn't be multiple races. If race was so important, Black lives and all lives would matter. People are people at the end of the day. Whether you're Caucasian, you're blue, you're a donkey, you're a unicorn, it don't matter. People are people at the end of the day, and everyone does not have equal rights. If everybody had equal rights, why is there a division? I want somebody to comment right down below. If everybody has equal rights, how come everybody does not sing kumbaya or joy to the world or we are the world? Oh, okay. Chirp, chirp. You hear the birds? Chirp, chirp. Mute. Big mute. Big mute. And what about it? If everybody has equal rights, how come why are people struggling? Why are there people homeless? Why are homeless people if everybody has equal rights? That means everyone should have a car. You should have a car. I should have a car. Your neighbor should have a car. Okay. No comment. No comment. Right. 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 We as people have more say than the government. We as people have, because guess what? It is our votes that they have to go off of to decide and dictate how they want to interpret. They decide. I'm not saying that everybody, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna have to take everybody to stand on it. You have countries like Canada and especially Europe. Shout out to all my Canadian. They've been fighting, like I said, the Pakistani people, they've been fighting. Why do you think there's so much chaos going on in the world? It's not for no reason. People in Europe were people in Canada. A lot of people in Canada have been fighting right now, trying to defend ourselves, especially like I said, for people that are on TikTok. You got doctors who are starting to tell the truth about medicine. You have people in charge. You got politicians. You got entertainers starting to sit here and tell the truth. The people in power know that they can't continue. That's why, how you gonna change daylight savings time? How y'all gonna change that? So out of 3,000 years or a million and trillion years on Earth, now all of a sudden they gonna sit here and change the time? Y'all want to sit here and now give people minimum wage? $15 an hour is not good for anybody. Why do you think that gas prices are about to be $10? Because they know that. You need to be able to stand up. Y'all seen that TikTok? Stand up. Stand up. Get up. You don't want gas to be $10? You need to do something about it. You want equal rights? You need to be able to stand on what you say and mean what you say when you say it. Oh, but people are going to talk about me. People are going to judge me. Fuck those people. Do you think I care about what people talk about? No. I don't go to bed and wake up for other people. What do I look like living my life for somebody else? What do you look like living your life for somebody else? You control your happiness. Other people cannot make you happy if you're not that's like if you're not happy with what you have, and that's something I had to realize. If I'm not happy where I live now, when I move, when I get my apartment, when I get my car, I'm never going to be happy. I'm always going to feel like I need more. That's why some wealthy people have so much financially, but they're so poor inside because they feel like, oh, I need this, I need that, I need this, I don't have that. Why are you depressed when you have a roof over your head, you have food in your mouth, you have clothes on your body? Oh, because you don't have the brand newest car? Because you don't have a brand new phone? Because somebody said that you needed to look a certain type of way? You don't even like yourself, and you gonna listen to other people? The people in charge don't even like themselves. That's why they so greedy. You gonna listen to people that are insecure tell you about you. You know how many insecure people try to belittle me? And you know what? I don't say nothing to them. Like I said, when I see people, I say hi. I smile. I look at them. I'm not going to change my face. And I'm going to talk to you because I know that you're insecure. But you don't want me to tell you that, though. How's your day? How are you? Like, insecure, you being angry, that's not my fault. Nobody should be able to take that much energy from you. That's something I had to learn the hard way. Like, I'm not going back and forth with nobody. I'm not about to sit here and physically put my hands on nobody. I'm not about to sit here and curse nobody out. Whatever people want to think about you, let them talk. Let them talk. Because guess what? You can't mind my business and mind yours at the same time. So if you watch what I do, that lets me know you do not care about yourself. If you had enough respect for yourself, if you were really humble, you don't have time. You got to live your life for you. Start asking yourself, why what is my purpose? Why am I waking up? What do you want to do in your life? You don't have to know immediately. You don't have to do it immediately because guess what? Healing is a process. It took me 5 years to heal. And guess what? The world didn't end. So as long as I'm able to breathe and I wake up, I have an opportunity. I have time. I don't have to have a car right now. I don't have to have an apartment. I don't have to have a job. One, I like to I was this is the most this last year and this year, even though I've realized one, I had to be isolated. This is the best years of my life because when I do get a car, when I do move, that means I'm not going to be able to do what I want. Enjoy your life. And I'm young. I'm just now starting my life. And it doesn't matter if you're 25 or 45. Live your life. If other people can't help you to, get a job or, help you get something to eat or help you get to and from somewhere, you don't need to worry about those people because guess what? When I do get my car, when I do purchase my apartment, then what? If you're not in a better position to be bettering yourself, you're gonna be in the same spot. I'm not. That's the difference between somebody who's being humbled because you have everything you need. People who don't have nothing, they don't have nothing to lose, literally. I have no worries when I wake up. It's temporary. I'm not gonna be in the same spot forever. You can't be in the same spot that you were a year ago if you've been applying pressure. Something I had to realize, and I'm gonna go ahead and get off of this live, is that it takes 7 months to 12 months to build a house. You don't want anything that's gonna come quickly. You do not want nothing that's not gonna have longevity. If it takes 7 months to 12 months to build a house, it could take you 7 months to heal yourself. Because when I get a car, when I move, I could be grateful for what I have. And I don't have to worry about not being disrespectful. I don't have to worry about putting myself in a position to not have the things that I need. Because now I know how to survive and I know how to take care of the things that I need to have temporary because it's not going to last forever. Do not allow your past or your future scare you so much that you don't even realize that it's 5:32 Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. That's the only thing that matters is literally what you're doing right now. You cannot build a house in a day. You can't do anything in a day. You can't have a baby in a day. You can't build a house in a day. The only thing that you could do in a day, and once again, not to scare nobody, is come into this world and leave in this world. That's only two things that you could do in a day. When you go to work, you're not going to work for a full day. When you go to sleep, you're not going to sleep for a full day. You go through a couple of hours within a day, but you're not going to work the whole day. You don't eat all day. You don't work out all day. You do things in hours, minutes, or seconds. That's the purpose of the time. You may work majority of your day, but you're not going to work all day. The people that work at McDonald's, even though it's 24 hours, they have shifts. And if you have to do something that's going to take your full day, is it really worth your time and energy? So if you have to work somewhere for 16 hours, I want to suggest and advise you make sure you go somewhere where you want to be for 16 hours because that's a part of your day. And if you can't be humble to be disciplined, like I don't want to sacrifice my life if I could be obedient. If I'm not willing to go without so I could gain, I don't want nothing at all. It doesn't bother me that I don't have certain things that are physical and material that everybody else has. Like, that's not my life. And guess what? People who are really independent, you got to do that shit by yourself. Nobody's going to help me. There are going to be people to assist you. Like, for example, my mom, my little brother, they could take me to and from, but that's not, I don't expect them to. They can't, or they're not going to always be there to take me to get something to eat. That's not their job. They have their own lives. People have their own lives. So yeah, people are going to be there for you when, when you can, but they're not always going to people are not always going to be there for you. You have to be able to learn how to be yourself and be comfortable standing with yourself. People can help you, take you to and from, but they're not always going to be there every day because they have to be able to take care of themselves. In order for someone to take care of you, they have to be taken care of. How do I know? Because my ex in my last relationship, I had a car, I had an apartment, I had the money. I took care of him before I took care of myself. And look who now lives with their mother. And it's not to knock my mom, but I moved out for a reason. If you can take care of somebody else and you don't take care of yourself, you will lose everything. I lost everything, my mind, my emotions, my finances, the car, the apartment, because I took care of somebody else before I was okay. And unless, like I said, it's your child, that man, my ex, not to knock him because I don't have no negative energy towards him. He's not a child. Children are the only people that are taken care of. Adults don't are not taken care of. That's why your parents, like one thing I had to realize about my parents, I'm very fortunate, even though they don't have emotional support or mentally are able to understand, they provided for me. And it's not to knock parents who don't have the emotional intelligence to show love or to express their emotions, but if they only know how to survive, what can they do? That's all they know. And it's up for them to, come to their sense, but they lived a life. A lot of adults are just upset. They're in their feelings. They're very sensitive because of how they were raised. They only know what they know. And as an adult, it's not to knock adults or, anybody, but like that's upsetting because it's like they're an adult and they feel the way that they do. That's why you don't compare yourself. I tell you guys all the time, do not compare yourself to nobody. How are you gonna compare yourself to somebody who don't even exist? You the only person who exists that is you. If you're broke and somebody's rich, why would you want to compare yourself to them? And if you have everything and you see that people have more care, why would you want to compare yourself to that person? There is no competition. You know how many people are delusional? And if you're offended, you're offended. Because I said what I said. I'm not gonna say that to people like just like I said, because my opinions and the facts that I give, they're two different things, okay? But that's an opinion, but it's very delusional for people to think that way. That's why I don't come on here and tell you guys my opinion. This is not a podcast, and it's not to knock the people that give podcasts, but you know, that's what I'm saying. Anybody can have a podcast. If you're gonna use your platform, use it for your good. If not, talk your shit and say it with your chest and make sure you stand on it. But this not the type of time that I'm on. Why? Because once where am I gonna go, you guys? Can someone please tell me? Because I'm not going to the ocean. I'm not going to the ocean, and I'm not going to outer space. So that only leaves me with the continents of the United of the world. I could go to Africa. I could go to Dubai. I could go to Australia. But after I go to visit the rest of the world, where can I go? There is no other life on other planets other than Earth. And I don't have $1 billion to build a rocket ship to go to find out if there are other lives. I don't want to know. I don't. Why do you think there's no gravity in space? I don't want to go to space. If I'm going to space, I'm not coming back. Okay? If I go to outer space, if I go to the ocean, I'm not coming back. So where am I gonna go? Can someone tell me if there's no if I leave outside my house and I look up, I'm outside. I'm a part of the universe. You realize that there are no walls in space. So when you go outside, like the wind, that's supernatural. The wind is something that you feel. The wind is something that you could physically embrace. You could hear the wind, you could feel the wind, and you could smell wind because outside has a stench. You ever go outside and people be like, you smell like outside, you smell like grass, and then you come inside a closed building because a building is closed off. You got these birds chirping in front of my house trying to talk to me right now. I don't got time for the birds, okay? Like, learn to be humble. Okay. So it's going on 5:45. I'm going to upload this video, and I'm also going to upload a daily upload for you all. I want to say thank you. And that next month, we're going to have a lot of talk the rest of this year, every single day, okay? Because that's all, once again, we can do. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. If you think you're dreaming, I want you to go to the restroom, get you a bucket of water or some cold water and splash it on your face and blink 3 times if you can hear me, okay? Make sure you guys practice daily, live your life, and don't forget to say YOLO.